Why do so many outstanding women in Shanghai not want to get married? It's not because they're too picky nor because of personality flaws. It's because there simply aren't enough equally outstanding men to go around. The women I know in Shanghai who earn over 1 million, even 10 million yuan a year, are mostly entrepreneurs, internet influencers, or people who rode the wave of booming finance and tech industries in recent years. But over the past 2 years, not many are still making that kind of money, so there's no need to feel anxious about it. There's one group, like teacher Su and Zhang Kaiyi, who have figured it out. I don't need a man who makes a lot of money. As long as he's good-looking, has a great personality, and makes me happy, that's enough. Then there's another group. Even though their biological instincts may urge them toward marriage, decades of ingrained social education can't be undone overnight. It's always been harder for women to earn money than men. If I'm making over 10 million a year and she, my partner, isn't at my level, we probably wouldn't even have much to talk about. But now more and more outstanding women are actively choosing to remain single. It's not that they don't want a partner, it's that they genuinely can't find one. When we talk about gender antagonism, what career-driven women really need are men who are the gender-reversed complement. Good-looking, emotionally stable, easy to get along with, and willing to take on domestic responsibilities. But the East Asian education system doesn't produce many men like this. Overseas there are more. How many boys are taught from a young age to help their mothers with housework? How many are taught to be empathetic and emotionally sensitive? Most boys are raised in a patriarchal system where they're told not to lose, not to cry, not to be weak. They're trained to compete in a brutal male-dominated world. If they win, they get it all. If they lose, they can't even find a wife. Why are the most accomplished women more likely to be single? Nano recently shared a conversation she had with a PhD student researching feminism. The student mentioned she had been interviewing many highly educated women who, despite their qualifications, are still single. She found a common thread among them: a growing tendency towards singlism, the choice to remain single. And she summed it up in 8 Chinese characters: risk aversion and individualism. What does that mean? In simple terms, it means that women today are becoming increasingly rational and increasingly hard to fall in love. I don't know about your circle, but in mine this is becoming very common. Around 70% of the women pursuing PhDs I know are single. Even though many still long for love, they're not in a rush to go on blind dates or attend matchmaking events. Because love isn't something we pursue blindly anymore. We still yearn for a partner who can be romantic and bring practical value to our lives. But we also clearly understand. Being in a relationship might drain our time and energy we'd otherwise use to focus on ourselves. Romantic relationships often come with emotional friction, arguments, impulsive decisions like rushed marriages, and potential damage to our reputation or quality of life. These risks can easily outweigh the benefits of being in a relationship. A growing wave of deresponsibilization among young people is quietly reshaping society. The current situation is full of contradictions. On one hand, government policies are encouraging people to spend more to stimulate the economy. On the other hand, young people are increasingly choosing not to get married, not to have children, and can't even be bothered to buy a house. This isn't just a slap in the face to capital. It's a challenge to the traditional social order. So why is this trend of young people shedding responsibilities becoming more and more obvious? To put it bluntly, there are just too many benefits for young people in letting go of these traditional obligations. Take marriage as an example. In the past, women were expected to have children, do housework, and take care of the entire family. But now many women are simply removing that shackle. Why should I, just because I'm a woman, be forced to bear all of this? The same goes for men. Traditionally, men were expected to buy a house, a car, pay a bride price, and shoulder the bulk of the financial burden. But now many men are stepping back too. Forget the bride price, I'm not buying a house or a wedding car either. And if that's unacceptable, I'm fine not getting married at all. I can take care of myself just fine. And honestly, isn't that kind of life more relaxed? But the result of this shift is that both men and women are now unwilling to shoulder the responsibilities of marriage. And as a consequence, marriage and birth rates are plummeting. According to official data from the Ministry of Civil Affairs, China has seen a cliff-like drop in the number of marriages over the past 2 years. In 2024, there were only 6.106 million registered marriages nationwide, a drop of 1.574 million compared to 2023, the lowest number in 45 years. Among young people aged 25 to 29, the prime marrying age, half have never been married. It's estimated that by the end of this year, China's single population will exceed 300 million, and late or even non-marriage has already become a widespread trend. The underlying reason is crystal clear. Young people are under immense pressure. There's a term in economics called the labor support ratio. In Germany, one person's income can support 6.8 people. In the US, it's 4.8 people. In South Korea, 3.8. But in China, one person's income can only support 1.1 people. When people are already struggling to take care of themselves, how can they possibly be expected to follow traditional expectations? Once a woman is over 30, it's basically impossible to find a normal man. As a woman myself, I really don't want to say this, but after watching this video, if you think I'm wrong, feel free to scold me. Women must remember one thing. Men have double standards when it comes to choosing partners based on a woman's age. For example, when a woman is 22 or 23, even if she looks average and doesn't have any real beauty advantage, men will still think she has a calm, classy charm. Even if she has a bad temper, they'll say she's cute. If she doesn't earn much, men will see her youth as full of future potential and even say, "I'll support you." Put simply, as long as you're not extremely unattractive, you'll never lack male attention. But once you're 25 or 26, men start getting picky. If you look even slightly older, if your job isn't in the government or isn't stable, if you've lived with an ex before, these things start to matter. At this stage, at least you still hold some initiative in relationships. As long as you're not set on marrying someone super rich, it's still possible to find someone on your level. But once you pass 28, the problems pile up. The first requirement men usually have is that women must be under 28. Because by the time you date, get married, and have kids, a woman that age is already considered an older mother. Unless your family is wealthy or you're naturally stunning or a top university graduate, which gives you some advantage, men will only consider you if there's a reason to complement each other. If you're just an ordinary woman, your options shrink drastically. Once you're past 30, not only do you start meeting so-called bitter men, but even women you used to look down on, if they married well, now look at you with a sense of superiority. You might think it's no big deal, but your parents will start to get anxious. In Chinese society, if you're that age and still unmarried, people start wondering if there's something wrong with your health or even your sexual orientation. And if you're attractive, the malicious gossip gets even worse. People will say things like, "She's probably just been playing around and now waiting for a nice guy to settle with," or even more nasty things like, "Is she someone's side woman or leftover?" The older you get, the more brutal it gets. By the time you're over 32, the only men left who match your level are usually divorced with kids, or so-called phoenix men, who just want to live off your income. People will say a poor man can still work hard and one day get rich. But for older women, no matter how hard you try, you can't turn back time to be 18 again. Being over 30 as a woman is just too difficult. So please follow Su Mu and wish her an early end to singlehood. Did you know? In China, over 100 million women have chosen to remain single. So, who is responsible for creating the so-called leftover women dilemma? When 30 million men are overestimating their chances in the marriage market, why are so many outstanding women actively choosing to stay single? Whose fault is it really? According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics, the single rate among marriage-age women in China has been rising continuously for 10 years. And behind it lies a heartbreaking truth. First, it's not because women are too picky, it's because times have changed. When post-90s women can earn 1 million yuan a year, who still wants to be trapped in the traditional script of cooking, laundry, and childcare. Just like that 56-year-old woman who travels solo in her car, marriage was once a safe harbor for her to escape her original family, but today's women have already learned to place security in their own hands. What's even more cruel is the invisible shackle in the workplace. A survey by Zhaopin.com shows that 61% of women are asked about marriage and childbearing plans during job interviews. Cases of women being transferred after pregnancy or being replaced after maternity leave in hotels are all too common. When society demands women to do everything but provides no real support, who would dare step into marriage so easily? And then there's the suffocating double standard. A 30-year-old man is called a golden bachelor, but a 30-year-old woman is labeled a leftover. A man with a successful career is a diamond king, but a financially independent woman is insulted as an unwanted strong woman. When marriage becomes a kind of charity or sacrifice, who would be willing to gamble the rest of their life on such a future? But the most heartbreaking truth is, it's not that they don't want to love. At the matchmaking corner in Shanghai's People's Park, you'll find resumes of women with master's degrees from top universities and 500,000 yuan annual salaries, yet they go unnoticed. Meanwhile, men who are simply gentle, considerate, and know how to do housework are flooded with interest. When love becomes a price transaction, who still dares to believe in soulmates? So please stop saying they are just too choosy. This is not a crisis of female singleness. It's the redefinition of happiness by modern women. They don't want a marriage of compromise. They want equal respect, freedom of choice, and a soulmate who shares the same spirit. When society truly learns to see their light with equality, those beautiful stories will naturally bloom at the right time. Remember, the best marriage should never be a woman's only way out.